Hope you're all doing well. I am Tuxsudo. I work for CakeWallet. I do operations and I help with development and server stuff. Kind of do a little bit of everything. And today I want to show you a little bit of a demo of our MWEB integration with Litecoin inside CakeWallet. And this is pretty big for us, and I think it's also going to be big for the Litecoin community, as MWEB's definitely been worked on for quite a while. And I know the integration of MWEB protocol into Litecoin has been worked on for a while, and we want to push the privacy envelope by being one of the first wallets to integrate MWEB into our Litecoin wallet. And so what is MWEB? And I'm sure you guys, most of you probably know what it is. You saw some talks earlier this morning about MWEB. But MWEB essentially just stands for MWEB Extension Block. And it's combining the features of MWEB, which is a privacy-focused decentralized protocol, with Litecoin, and adding it as an extension block, so like a parallel block alongside the transparent Litecoin chain. MWEB allows Litecoin users to opt into this extension block, which provides them with more confidential transactions as well as scalability improvements. So most notably, oops, sorry, I've been switching. There we go. There's the first slide. I've been looking at my laptop. I've been switching. That's what is MWEB. Most notably, we have privacy upgrades with MWEB, and I'm just going to talk about a few of them here. So the first one is confidential transactions, and the second one is stealth addresses, and the third one is coin join. And these are just a few, not all of them. But specifically, confidential transactions hides the amount a transaction is moving on-chain using zero-knowledge proofs, keeping that information only visible to participating parties, the sender and the receiver. CoinJoin attempts to hide the real spender by combining inputs of transactions from multiple parties. And stealth addresses hide the real receiving address on-chain by having the sender generate one-time addresses that only the receiver can spend from and verify is theirs. And all those together brings quite a lot of privacy to Litecoin for what is typically a transparent blockchain. But however, it's not without some minor downsides that have partially been remedied. So the one thing you have to do now is perform an expensive on-device scanning in order to find out which outputs on the blockchain, on the MWEB extension blockchain, is yours. And that is a compromise of using MWEB for the client to have to do that work. However, there has been lots of work done on the MWEB or the MWEB daemon that allows you to use MWEB with a light client, and most of that work is now heavily reduced on the client side. At the moment, you still have to download a lot of transaction headers, which is around 700 megabytes of data you have to download and keep on your phone. We're working to see if we can get that reduced later on. But at the moment, you only have to do that once, and that data will basically work for all of the Litecoin wallets you have on your CakeWallet installation. Getting in and out. So how MWEB works is because it's an extension block and it basically is a separate block that runs parallel to the transparent Litecoin blocks, you kind of have to get your coins in or get them out of it. And getting in is considered pegging into Litecoin, and getting out is when you peg out. And in order to peg in, you must send your regular Litecoin inputs to an MWEB address. An MWEBD will handle pegging it into the MWEB chain. In order to peg out, you just simply do the opposite. You just send your MWEB coins into a regular traditional Litecoin, like a SegWit address, and that'll take it out of MWEB. And this process can be done with two separate wallets, or it can even be done with the same wallet. Every single Litecoin wallet you create will have the ability to use MWEB and regular Litecoin addresses at the same time. And thankfully, MWEBD handles this with mixed transactions very well. So you're actually able to send transactions to either an MWEB address or to a regular Litecoin address that have both MWEB and non-MWEB coins. And it will deal with everything behind the scenes to either peg in the rest of those traditional coins to MWEB or basically peg out the MWEB coins to regular Litecoin. So you don't even have to worry necessarily about only using specific coins for a transaction. It'll do what it needs to do to make them all go to the appropriate address. So this is what the balance screen will look like when we have Litecoin MWEB integrated. It'll look similar to this. It's still subject to change. There will be an extra card underneath the balance called Litecoin MWEB, and you're able to toggle this on and off. And we kind of added this at the moment simply because of the data requirements in order to use MWEB. Not everybody might not want to use it and have to download all of the headers required. So right now you do have the ability to opt out, but if you turn it on, it'll go ahead and start downloading all the headers, which depending on your internet speed could take 20 to 30 minutes, if not longer. But once again, you only have to do all that initial downloading once. And then going forward, you only have to download the new blocks that you hadn't previously downloaded, which shouldn't be nearly as much data. But as you can see, you've got the Litecoin MWEB card, and then on the other screen, on the other side, that is this transaction screen, and you can see there's this little label. It might be a little hard to see, it's small. There's this little label that says MWEB, and that's basically showing you that you had received an MWEB transaction. So the wallet knows that you received a transaction to your MWEB address, and it'll add a label to it so you actually know that, oh yeah, this was a MWEB transaction. And we're going to add the ability also to restore from a certain block height. At the moment, you still need to download the headers for all of the blocks from 0. That'll hopefully be changed in the future. But we have the ability to also scan from a specific block height in case there was something that happened. Maybe there's a glitch or something. You can go back and scan from a certain block height or go back and scan from a certain date. And that's under the MWEB settings. And at the moment, this is how you will receive MWEB. It's very simple. So you would just go to the receive screen, and you would tap at the top where it says receive, and you would switch the address type from SegWit, which is the default, to MWEB, and now you have an MWEB address. And you can have that in the same wallet. And this is something that we're still thinking about, how we could make this more user-friendly. At the moment, if you do want to spend only MWEB or spend only Litecoin inputs separately, and once again, you can spend them together. But if you want to keep them separate yourself, you're able to use coin control, and we have labeled which unspent coins are MWEB inputs that you have, MWEB coins that you have. So you're able to do coin control to manage those, but we're still thinking of ways that we can make that easier for the user if they want to manually separate the funds and not mix them by accident. So what MWEB is good for? MWEB is a huge step in the right direction for creating a private fungible currency. However, it's stated that it's not designed to protect you in the same way that something like Monero or shielded Zcash is, due to mostly some weak points like the coin join, which there's some improvements. I'm sure you saw David Burgett talking about earlier that could be done to the coin join of MWEB. That'll make it a lot more resilient. However, it does still provide a great improvement, a massive improvement to a traditionally completely transparent chain, and provides you quite a decent amount of privacy, especially with the confidential transactions, hiding the amounts. It does that very well. Later improvements, implementing UI for better separating MWEB coins from transparent coins, like I mentioned earlier. This is something we're thinking about at the moment. If you want to be more serious in how you use transparent Litecoin and separate that from your MWEB coins, the easiest way to do that is just to make a separate wallet. Just have one wallet that you use strictly for transparent Litecoins and have a separate wallet that you use only for your MWEB coins, and that'll keep them nicely separated from each other. But we're also thinking of user enhancements to make this easier for a single wallet if you don't want to accidentally make a transaction that includes transparent and MWEB coins together. And special thanks to David Burkett and his efforts and developments in MWEB. I'm sure some of you guys saw his talk earlier this morning. He's been working on MWEB stuff for quite a long time. Thanks to Loshan and Hector Chu for the developments in MWEB and helping us integrate it into CakeWallet. We honestly didn't think we would have something to show this soon, but Hector Chu, he was really working on helping us get it integrated. He really wanted it to be in time for this conference. And so thanks to his efforts, we now have something to actually show for. And we do actually have MWEB working in CakeWallet fairly well. We're still working out some stability issues, but it's working pretty good so far. And thanks to the CakeWallet team, especially Matthew, who is the developer that headed the integration and has spent a lot of time working on it, making it more stable. And so when will it be out? It'll be out fairly soon. We're looking at probably within the next couple months or so for sure. And if you would like to join the beta, you can go ahead and scan the QR codes for either Apple Test Flight or Google Play testing. And we're going to have a beta out. It might actually be out already. It'll be out this week. And if you don't want to use App Store or Play Store, you're able to download pre-release APKs from our GitHub as well. And you can find those from our website at CakeWallet.com. And I think that's it.
Great job. MVP tuxedo.